It's not my favorite slasher film by any other means, but, you know, when I watch it, it's an enjoyable 90s hit. But it's nothing that blew me away or anything. It's definitely not in my favorites with the Scream franchise. What is up, guys and horror fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Braincat, and today I'm going to review the latest horror legacy sequel, and that film is I Know What You Did Last Summer. This movie is the fourth movie in the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise, or third if you don't want to consider that shit straight to video movie. Is it called I Always Know What You Did Last Summer? I have not seen that movie, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not intending to. So fuck it, this is the third movie in I Know What You Did Last Summer series. This movie is directed by Jennifer Kaytin Robinson, and this movie stars Madelyn, Cline, Chase Soy Wonders, with Jennifer Love Hewitt returning, and Freddie Prinze Jr. When five friends cause a deadly car accident, they cover up their involvement to make a pact to keep it a secret rather than face the consequences. 1 year later, the past comes back to haunt them as they learn someone knows what they did last summer. So we got the latest legacy horror sequel coming out right now for this time's I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, I'm not nostalgically attached to I Know What You Did Last Summer. The original film is definitely a very watchable horror film. It's not my favorite slasher film by any other means, but, you know, when I watch it, it's an enjoyable 90s hit. But it's nothing that blew me away or anything. It's definitely not in my favorites with the Scream franchise. But it's still a pretty enjoyable film for nonetheless. So I Know What You Did Last Summer marathon away. I watched the original film again, and I also watched I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which sucks. I really did like that film. That film definitely doesn't hold up. Actually, the best part about that film is Jack Black. Absolutely. So when it comes to this legacy sequel, I just don't know what to think, to be honest with you. The trailers of the film did not impress me all that much. But like I said, this is coming from the guy that isn't nostalgically attached to the original movies. It's really cool to see the legacy actors back. Jennifer Love Hewitt, I haven't seen her in anything in a while. Even Freddie Prinze Jr., it's really good to see them back. But like I said, I wasn't really too anticipating for the movie, but I love slasher films, so I'm hoping this movie kind of changes my perspective on it. And I'm gonna say, guys, I Know What You Did Last Summer in 2025, in my opinion, is pretty It's not a terrible film. It definitely has its positives. Let's get into that first. First of all, I would say the five leads in the film. They actually are good in this movie. None of the characters actually annoyed me at all in this movie. There are characters that I actually did root for to survive in the situation they're in. I remember Madelyn Cline in Glass Onion. They came out a couple years and I thought she did a really good job in that. This movie, she did a pretty decent job in this film. You can tell that this movie she's trying to be the next Scream Queen in a way. And I thought she did a pretty decent job in the film. But the main lead out of the five groups in the movie, Chase Soy Wonders, who I remember she was in Buddies, which I find to be very underrated, and she was in the studio this year. I thought she did a pretty good job in the film. She's definitely the best character out of every cast member in the film. She's actually really good in this film as the main lead. She's pretty typical as the main lead, but you definitely like her charisma in this film. And also, it's really good to see Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt back in this movie. And for the screen time they received, they are good in this film. Freddie Prinze Jr. has a bit more screen time than Jennifer Love Hewitt in the film, but I gotta say, both of their performances, they're really good in this film. It's really good to see them back in this universe. And I gotta say, the kills in the film, it's definitely the best part about the film entirely. Seeing the Fisherman slasher once again on the big screen is really awesome to see. The kills in the film is still really creative, really well developed, shot very well as well. And there are some pretty decent scares in the film, I'm not gonna lie. It definitely has its entertainment value, that is for sure. But I think one of the biggest issues surrounding this film, in my opinion, is absolutely the story of this film. Besides Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. reprising roles for the legacy sequel treatment, I felt like this movie just felt like a carbon remake of the first movie, but just with a little bit of a modern twist. And that is fine for people who are huge fans of the 90s film. I respect people who love the original film. They're giving us basically back to nostalgic treatment. I get that. And yes, it got some entertaining scenes. The movie's not completely boring overall. It's just noticeable, you know? You felt like you're watching the exact same movie as we were expecting from the original film. If you like that type of stuff, you will like this movie, because this movie is definitely for the fans of the original film, and coming from the guy that isn't nostalgically attached to the first two films, I definitely noticed that in my personal opinion. It's kind of one of those movies that I just felt like it's very unnecessary. You know, I didn't feel like it needed a legacy sequel treatment, you know? I felt like why the Scream movies needed a legacy sequel. I felt why Final Destination needed one, especially with Bloodlines this year. But other than that, you know, if you're expecting the same story, you're going to get that. And of course, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. is definitely there for the Easter eggs, and definitely this movie has Easter eggs from the first two films, even from I Still What You Did Last Summer, which I was definitely very surprised of. So this movie is definitely, you know, for the fans. It's literally a movie that sticks from the formula for the fans, which I do appreciate. If you're huge fans, this movie will give you exactly what you wanted. But I feel like one of my biggest flaws with the film is actually the third act. Like I said, the first two acts, I can live by it, even though it's very noticeably a remake of the original film. The third act, the whole reveal of who the killer is and all that stuff, obviously I won't spoil it for you guys. It goes to a point where I'm just like, what the fuck? This ending could be definitely very mixed by everybody. Some people might like this ending, some people don't. I'm one of those people that felt like, what the fuck is this ending? Definitely I don't like this ending at all. Definitely I don't like what the third act is bringing to the film. Because it goes to the point where I'm just like, okay, this is where it's going? It definitely felt a little bit off to me when it comes to the reveal of who the killer is. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to ruin for you. But after you watch this movie, you will know what I'm talking about. Already straight away, I'm like, this ending is going to be very, very mixed. But like I said, I just felt like this movie didn't really need a legacy sequel treatment. And you know, with the recent Scream movies, you know, horror legacy sequels are becoming a trend now. We're getting so many of those. And I just felt like I Know What You Did Last Summer just didn't really need one because the film is just very, very simple. Actually, the original film was even inspired by Scream in the first place. But you know, this movie is not for the people who aren't fans of the first two films. If you're not fans of the first two I Know What You Did Last Summer, you won't like this movie. If you are, you'll definitely find some enjoyment. This movie's got something for the fans. It has some 90s nostalgia. It's trying to go back to the 90s formula, which I appreciate that it's trying to do that. And of course, we've got some Easter eggs from the first two films, and of course, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., they're there as well. But I do appreciate the new cast in the film. The 5 main leads in the film, none of them annoy me. They're actually really good characters in the film. It's just the overall story. It's literally not offering anything new. It's literally the exact same story, but with a bit of a legacy sequel treatment. So overall, guys, I Know What You Did Last Summer is pretty mixed for me. I do think the story of the film is pretty much a carbon remake of the first movie with some legacy sequel treatment. If you are fans of the first two films, you will definitely enjoy this film. I think there are some great 90s nostalgia Easter eggs, and the film tries to get you back into 90s nostalgia if you are fans of the first two films. I do think the 5 main leads are good in the film, and it's really good to see Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt in this movie. I thought they did a really good job in the film. And of course, the slasher elements are definitely the best part about this movie. The cinematography, the way this movie looks, it looks fantastic. There are some entertainment to be had with the film. The film is not garbage at all. It's just very mixed bag for me. I don't like the third act, the reveal and everything. But the first two acts, I'm like, you know what? It's just fine. I can enjoy for what it was. But I just felt like this movie overall just felt very unnecessary. I feel like horror movies are trying to do a lot of legacy sequels and trying to bring back the nostalgia. And this movie's just easily got its demographic. It's for the fans of the first two films. But coming from the guy that isn't a huge fan of the first two films, I thought this movie is just pretty safe and just fine for me. I'm gonna say for I Know What You Did Last Summer, definitely this movie, I would give it a meh rating.
I mean, it's alright, like...
But that's just my opinion on this legacy sequel of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Let me know what you think of this movie, in your opinion, in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay? Just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notify for my latest movie reviews and anime related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.